What's up, everybody? This is Blaze. Welcome to Bud Talk, Grow, and Chill. Today, we're starting a series, our first series, on a magazine that I just picked up, the National Geographic Cannabis Revolution. This is from January 2025. Before we get started, let's go ahead and light up. Alright, so what we're gonna do is we're just gonna go through and we're gonna read the articles in the magazine. There's some good stuff in here, guys. I read through some of it. Groundbreaking scientific revolutions. Stuff that not everybody knows about. As you guys can see, I got my little garden right here. As we go along in the series, you're going to get to see these babies grow right in front of your eyes. That's part of the whole show we got right here. But again, here it is, guys. National Geographic's January 2025 Cannabis Revolution. Let's get into it. How science is unlocking the plant's medicinal secrets. There's pictures in the magazine. I'll go ahead and put the pictures up here for you guys to see as I read along. Introduction: Understanding cannabis. Cannabis just might be the world's most fascinating and versatile plant. It was grown for its fiber and medicinal properties 12,000 years ago in northwest China and evolved into its profusion of modern strains. The earliest archaeological evidence of psychoactive use dates back 2,500 years. Its traces follow human migration since the glacial age. It has been found in ancient burial grounds from Egypt to China. It was cultivated by George Washington and even used to make the first American flag. Wow, the first American flag was made out of hemp. That's deep right there. Hemp has always been part of American history. Today, it's grown on every continent, save America, and used to make everything from paper to hair conditioner. When you look through human history, sooner or later, you'll run into cannabis. When you look through human history, sooner or later, you'll run into cannabis. And yes, it can even get you high. Cheers. In recent decades, the many uses of cannabis have been overshadowed by this fact. Queen Victoria was prescribed cannabis for menstrual pains back in the 1800s. And the Chinese may have used it as a medicine as early as 2700 BC. While 20th century politics framed marijuana as a menace, it has been used for medicine and making cloth for most of human history. It has been used for medicine and making cloth for most of human history. The contradictions of the plant simply add to the mystery and intrigue. With an estimated 228 million users globally, marijuana is the world's most commonly used recreational drug. But it's illegal in most every country on earth. Evidence suggests it has real medical benefits, but may also increase the risk of developing psychiatric disorders. To understand why cannabis has such a wide variety of uses and effects, first we must understand the unique ways the plant works. How cannabis works. Cannabis contains more than 500 chemical compounds, some of which produce opposite effects. Take CBD, a calming anti-inflammatory compound called a cannabinoid, and the second most common chemical in most strains of cannabis. Unlike tetrahydrocannabinol, THC, it won't produce a noticeable high. It has been approved by the U.S. Food and Drug Administration to treat epileptic seizures, but backers of CBD claim it can do much more. In fact, CBD has been touted as a treatment for everything. CBD has been touted as a treatment for everything from acne to heart health. CBD infused lattes are sold in hip cafes in New York City, and health stores sell CBD as a topical pain reliever. CBD contrasts sharply with THC, the most prevalent cannabinoid in the majority of cannabis strains. THC is the primary cause of many of marijuana's most well-known effects. Unlike CBD, THC can and will radically change the perception of users. Although THC and CBD are chemically similar and often consumed at the same time, they have widely different effects and counteract one another in ways science is just beginning to decipher. That's crazy. The research has just begun. They have so much more to do, so much more to learn. It's one of the most complex plants out there. Analyzing a plant that contains two vastly different chemicals would be hard enough. But cannabis has more than 500. More than 100 of those are cannabinoids, like cannabinol, tetrahydrocannabinolic acid, cannabigerol, and more, with their own effects that are just beginning to be studied. CBN is touted as a natural sleep aid, and THCA may offer the benefits of THC without the high. And for all the evidence of drugs hurting your brain, early reports claim that CBG might even help create new brain cells. Bam. Create new brain cells. Did you hear that? That right there, man, I knew it. I knew it all along that the shit was making me smarter. The older I got, the more I smoked, the smarter I got. Crazy. Alright, man, let's go. One thing is clear. Even though cannabis has been grown by humans for thousands of years, there's still so much to learn about the plant. Still misunderstood. Misconceptions about cannabis persist on both sides of the debate. Anti-marijuana advocates tie cannabis to moral failings unrelated to its effects as a drug or value as medicine. Some cannabis proponents claim that because cannabis is a natural plant, it's not harmful in any way. This is untrue. And in fact, many natural things are extremely dangerous. The death cap mushroom is both natural and organic, yet its name suggests it is extremely deadly. Cannabis is a powerful plant with a multitude of medicinal uses and the potential to help many sick people, but it's not a cure-all, and its use carries real risk and side effects. Marijuana, often used synonymously, refers to cannabis that contains substantial THC. In common usage, marijuana can refer to a cannabis plant itself, a mix of dried cannabis stems, leaves, and seeds meant to be smoked or vaporized, or even oils or extracts with psychoactive ingredients from the cannabis plant. Hemp refers to a cannabis plant grown for industrial or food use, with THC content lower than 0.3% by dry weight. This is cannabis not intended and essentially not able to produce a THC-based high. Although we cannot know the exact THC content of historical marijuana plants, if it was grown for use as food or cloth, it's typically referred to as hemp. Thus, George Washington is said to have grown hemp, because historians believe it was not intended to be used as medicine or recreationally. Hemp is often called a cousin-related plant or similar plant to cannabis or marijuana. This is not true. Hemp and marijuana are exactly the same species of plant. They are both cannabis sativa. They simply have different amounts of THC. Cannabis itself has a relatively tricky name. Cannabis is technically a genus name, but in common usage, cannabis refers to the species Cannabis sativa. Cannabis indica and Cannabis ruderalis are sometimes called separate species of cannabis, but are currently generally considered as subspecies of Cannabis sativa. This naming system can lead to confusing names such as Cannabis sativa subspecies indica. To avoid confusion for readers, in this special we will use terms according to their common usage as follows. Names for cannabis. Cannabis sativa, cannabis, a species of flowering plant containing more than 500 chemical compounds that has been cultivated for more than 12,000 years for use as a medicine, a food, a fiber, and a recreational drug. It is often abbreviated as cannabis, which is technically the genus name. Marijuana. Cannabis grown to produce a recreational high or for medicinal purposes. It usually contains a THC content of 5% or more. All marijuana is cannabis, but marijuana is not hemp because it contains enough THC to produce a high. Hemp. Cannabis with a THC content below 0.3%, usually grown for industrial use, such as for making cloth or for food cultivation. All hemp is cannabis, but hemp is not marijuana because it lacks enough THC to produce a high. Cannabinoid, a chemical compound that reacts with the body's cannabinoid receptors. THC and CBD are cannabinoids. Methods of consumption. Edible. Food infused with marijuana extract, which produces a high approximately 30 to 90 minutes after consumption. Hash or hashish. Cannabis resin usually smoked. This paste-like preparation of marijuana is more common in Europe than in the United States, where bud flower and leaf-based herbal cannabis are more popular. Vaporizing, vaping, dabbing. Heating cannabis or cannabis oil to vaporize and inhale it. Most often this method uses an apparatus like a vape pen or dab pen. High potency extracts can reach close to 100% THC with much higher health risk. Main chemical compounds. THC, a chemical compound in cannabis that can produce euphoria, anxiety, and hallucinations. Full name, tetrahydrocannabinol. CBD, a chemical compound in cannabis that has been approved by the FDA to treat 2 forms of childhood epilepsy. It is believed by some to fight anxiety and inflammation and to help sleeplessness. Full name, cannabidiol. Marijuana as medicine. Marijuana shows great promise as an anti-inflammatory and preventative medicine for a range of conditions, including chronic pain. Given that prescription opioids have killed tens of thousands of Americans in recent years, marijuana stands out as a promising substitute for pain patients. There is also evidence that marijuana may improve outcomes in people who suffer from schizophrenia, epilepsy, obesity, and diabetes. That's crazy. Schizophrenia, epilepsy, obesity, and diabetes. That's a lot of stuff. CBD is a promising antipsychotic. Some research suggests it may have the ability to inhibit but not cure lung cancer. Whoa. Inhibit lung cancer? Okay, didn't they say that marijuana was gonna hurt your lungs? I've been smoking for a long time and I have really healthy lungs. I'm almost 50 years old and I can run, I can exercise and not get tired. I still have my lung capacity. So, having smoked for over 30 years or longer, I never believed that it was hurting my lungs. It's actually helping your lungs, is what the research is saying. Again, let me read it. CBD is a promising antipsychotic. Some research suggests it may have the ability to inhibit, but not cure, lung cancer, hypertension, and convulsions. Yet further research is needed to confirm many of these potential uses. That's a lot of great potential uses that these babies can have right here. I mean, that's awesome. Although marijuana has important medical capabilities, like any medicine, it also comes with side effects, including anxiety, confusion, drowsiness, nausea, paranoia, and hallucinations. Moreover, marijuana seems to increase the risk of users developing psychiatric disorders like depression and schizophrenia. I've seen it. I've experienced somebody who went through hysteria, schizophrenia over dabbing a lot. And just like anything, it can be abused, and you can't abuse marijuana. Promising but prohibited. For all its promise, marijuana remains illegal in most countries on earth. But that hasn't stopped it from being the world's most popular illicit drug. Cannabis is the most produced, trafficked, and consumed drug in the world. From 2010 to 2015, 135 countries reported cannabis plant cultivation. Most of the world's cannabis is grown in the United States and Morocco, while large amounts of hydroponic cannabis are grown in Canada, cultivated indoors in a nutrient-rich water. Morocco and Afghanistan produce large amounts of cannabis resin, much of which is then smuggled to Europe, as well as Pakistan and Iran. Cannabis use is most prevalent in high-income countries and has been increasing in low and middle-income countries. Despite the promise offered by medical marijuana, it remains illegal under federal law everywhere in the United States. Some experts say that keeping marijuana criminalized at the federal level inhibits medical research. It's also said to leave in place hurdles and risk for entrepreneurs that in effect maintain inequity in the industry and encourage its control by corporations. Moreover, its federally illegal status encourages organized criminal activity, which can lead to violence between gangs and police. And as long as it is illegal, users and businesses still risk prosecution. Businesses continue to be severely restricted by marijuana status as an illicit drug. Major banks won't take marijuana businesses' money for fear of federal drug trafficking charges, so they operate using cash. Major retailers won't stock marijuana products, and investors fear putting money into companies that are technically dealing illegal drugs. The Drug Enforcement Agency has proposed to reclassify marijuana, currently listed as a Schedule I drug, as a less dangerous drug under Schedule III. Such a move would alleviate tax burdens and allow deducted expenses. The move has sparked debate between prohibitionists and legalization advocates. Around 50% of Americans have tried marijuana in their lifetimes, and 88% support medical marijuana, which is now legal under state law in the majority of states. Change is around the corner, but there is no telling when exactly it will come. That's the first article in the Cannabis Revolution. I like the start that we got off to. There's a lot of other stuff that we're going to get into, we're going to talk about. I think it just goes to show that marijuana is a beautiful, great thing that is going to help mankind for years to come. And I'm so happy that I'm able to grow this. So just so you guys know, I have some Purple Punch, which is an indica, and I have some Apple Scotty, which is a sativa dominant hybrid. Those are the two strains I have right now. We've got about 16 plants, and got 2 mother plants. About to cut the mother plants and make some more clones and bring some more babies into the flowering room. We're in the flowering room. You can tell by the yellow color. Thanks for watching the video, guys. We're gonna get into this a lot deeper and a lot more. Please like, subscribe, and comment. This is Blaze. This is Bud Talk. Chill and grow. I'll see you on the next one.